Yuji Itadori, with new power on his side and Nanami to his left, the gang up on Mahito, and their relentless attack is upon him. The fight is about to begin, and Yuji Itadori wants to make sure that he gets the job done this time. Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. I'm back with the finale, or obviously part 2 out of 2 of What If Itadori had a stat leveling quirk. I had a nice, enjoyable time making a JJK What If. It's definitely far different than my other What Ifs. Definitely an interesting way of making a What If, especially with the story and how it works. Very different than me making Shield Hero, how I made My Hero Academia, how I made Tanjiro What Ifs, all that stuff. Very different, so I had to definitely take a different approach. We'll get better and better as I do these, like I always say, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time, and let's just get right into where we left off. Let's get it. Nanami and Yuji gang up on Mahito relentlessly, but the only thing is they're unable to leave any permanent marks at all. But there's one thing they do realize. Mahito is doing something to power up his attacks, doing something that they notice slightly. Short pauses, and whenever he does this, he gathers cursed energy. Nanami and Itadori actually see this and realize it pretty quickly, especially with Itadori's increased intelligence from his stat leveling system. Their assault continues. They begin to beat and batter Mahito relatively easily now. They got the rhythm, and now they're working perfectly as a team, but on the brink of defeat, Mahito tries something. He tries something that is going to be drastic, but could work wonders for him. After Itadori goes for the final blow, using as much strength as he possibly can to kill Mahito, he begins to trap Nanami inside a domain expansion, trapping him in, and Nanami pushes Yuji or Itadori outside of it. But there was no reason for him to even trap Yuji in, and frankly he didn't want him in anyways. He traps Nanami in and begins to scoff at him. Nanami prepares himself, frankly, to die. Nanami knows that once he's locked in a domain expansion, and with how good his, you could call cursed powers are, it's a wrap. It seems like this is gonna be the end of the road for him. Until he hears a thud, another thud, and another thud, until Yuji Itadori blasts through the top of the domain expansion. Mahito is shocked to see this, and instantly he gets something. Something happens to Mahito, and Sukuna is unhappy to beyond his extent. I told you, don't mess with me. You're messing with my soul, and I told you only had one chance. Now you die. Sukuna begins to basically destroy Mahito's soul, forcing him to drop his domain expansion and leaving horrible wounds to him. Nanami says that they cannot let him escape, so they try their best to keep up and try to finish him off. But unfortunately, they're unable to do so, and Mahito escapes into the sewers, and he is shocked to see this. A large smirk covers Mahito's face, and he's happy to just be alive, and that he'll be coming after Yuji Itadori in the near future once again. But with that all said, we head back to Jujutsu Tech. After with some conversation between Yuji and Gojo, they say that they're finally gonna reveal that Yuji is back on the scene. So when they arrive with Kyoko, or the school Kyoko Tech, the other Jujutsu Kaisen or Jujutsu Sorcerer school. Gojo arrives with a box and begins to hand out gifts, but then says that he has a special gift for his 2 first-year students, in which Yuji comes out of the box, surprising everybody, saying that he's alive. But that doesn't really go very well. Everybody either is too occupied with the gifts that he already has, and frankly, Nobara and also Megumi are just kind of confused. They kind of been mourning Yuji, so it's odd to see him alive once again, and it's definitely going to, you could say, take some time to realize fully. But Yuji eventually is able to talk to everybody. He's able to talk to the first year students, his team, Megumi and Nobara, and also the rest of the second years, explaining everything that happened and that he basically was revived and that he survived because of Sukuna, but he's not 100% sure how, and he hasn't come back for basically a reason of him getting more control and also him basically working on other missions. He apologizes that he wasn't able to tell them sooner, in which they are able to understand more or less. But they do begin to say that it's going to be kind of hard for them to actually put Yuji into the group. How are they going to set him up just like everybody else? They had a clear-cut plan, so what are they going to do? In which Yuji says that he's not sure either, but he's sure that he can come up with something if given enough time. And they're confused because Yuji is such an airhead. How would he come up with something? But he begins to quickly explain that he's not just an airhead now, and explains this odd leveling system that he has, and he's talked about it in the past, and that his intelligence does feel higher than normal. And Nobara makes a joke at the idea that when you multiply 0 by any number, it's still 0. And Yuji takes offense to that and says that that wasn't very nice. But with some talking, they realize that they don't have that much time in terms of getting into the competition. So they decide on one strategy. They decide to have Yuji as muscle. Yuji is extremely strong, especially with his stat leveling system. He's even stronger than normal, and he will go head to head with someone on the other team by the name of Todo, and he agrees to this. So they learn about what the competition is exactly, that they are going to exercise basically various curses, but what they don't realize is that the Kyoto students are up to something, or more than just that. An elder has told them that he orders them to kill Yuji. He wants them to kill him and make it seem like an accident. But that won't be as easy as they really believe it to be. Both of the teams are ready to go. The group battle is now amongst them, and they're about to begin. They begin to run off, and Yuji is ready to take on the main threat, or the main threat he feels it to be, and that's Todo. That's Aoi Todo. He knows it's going to be a tough fight, but all he has to do is really stall him. Todo comes basically running in at full speed, and Yuji is there ready to connect a punch with his punch. Todo smiles, and he is ready for an intense brawl. But just as Todo has this in mind, a bunch of his own teammates show up. They begin to attack Yuji, and they seem to have a killing intent. And even Yuji can tell that they're trying to kill him. But immediately, he's right next to one of the boys, one of the people that are on their team, and he puts a hand on his shoulder. This won't be as easy as you believe it to be. I know you think it is, but I promise, my grade, my curse grade, whatever they call me, I might be a low tier sorcerer, but trust me, I'm not that bad. He immediately kicks one of them off of him, and Todo actually hits one of his own teammates to get him off as well. And Todo is shocked to see this, but he smirks. "You seem stronger than I thought. This is gonna be fun." He tells his entire team to buzz off, that this is his fight. And immediately as he says this, the other team, Yuji's team, actually intervenes and separates them entirely. Yuji and Todo now face to face, and Todo says that he's not gonna back down, and Yuji says the exact same thing. Todo goes and basically to punch Yuji extremely hard, hitting him through one of the curses that is around, and Yuji realizes that this man is stronger than he even believed in the first place. This may turn out really bad, but there's no guarantee he'll come out alive, but he's still gonna have fun with this fight. He's bloodied, sitting on a tree, but he slowly gets up and smirks at Todo, saying that he's not done and over with yet, and his wounds begin to slowly regenerate. Now that is something I like to see. I like to see that passion. But I have to ask you something before we continue this fight. I need to know something very important. Yeah? And what is that? What type of woman do you like? What type of woman do I like? What kind of question is that? Shoot, I mean, if you really want me to answer, and you're serious about that question, I would have to say, it has to be a woman who's tall and has a fat ass, just like Jennifer Lawrence. Todo's smile and smirk widens further, and says that they were destined to be best friends, and this combat will be the best he's ever had, ever. They begin to clash, fighting like crazy back and forth. Everything Todo has learned, he begins to teach to Yuji. They have now entered this state of a total bonding. They're like brothers, battle hardened. Battle itself is forcing Yuji to enjoy it more and more. And throughout this time, he's getting level after level. Every quest that says that he needs to learn something from Todo, it's passed. Everything he wants to gain, passed. Every level up, he has tons of attribute points now, and mid-fight, he even stops Todo. 1 second. Let me explain something to you, Mr. Todo. I have a special, you could call it a curse power. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's some sorcery. I'm not sure, but it's a leveling system. Todo is intrigued to hear this. A leveling system. Interesting. So like a video game. Yeah, exactly, like a video game. Me and you fighting, I've just gained tons of levels. So if you want me to be even stronger while we're fighting, go ahead, I know what you're gonna say. Put it all into other attributes and we'll continue fighting again, brother. Immediately, Yuji begins to up his strength, up his endurance, up his health, anything that would help him. He has tons of points, making basically his attributes double in size from a range of all 15s to a range of, we're talking 30s, maybe even 40s. Yuji looks at Todo and says that he's gotten twice as strong, and Todo smiles. Let's see it then, brother. Let's continue this battle. Even during this battle, Todo can feel the strength of Itadori, trying to teach him to control his cursed energy, trying to make him even stronger. He says that he wants his brother to be even stronger than him. That once he gets stronger than him, they could go out together, kill all the curses. It will be so easy for them. Their connection is flawless. And Itadori is buying into this. He's actually excited. He's growing at such a rapid rate. This is the best possible thing that could have ever happened to him. His strength has doubled. At this point, maybe even has tripled. Itadori is so strong, but they're so caught up in their fight, they barely realize what's occurring, and they sense something. It seems that special grades have entered the battlefield, and it seems like some people that they know need their help. So immediately Itadori and Todo get ready to actually assist the second years and also Megumi. They begin to basically close the distance on that area, seeing that Todo's team and also Itadori's team have joined forces to try and defeat these cursed spirits, but they have no chance. They fist bump and basically say that the brothers will handle this. So immediately, they are sensed and they come towering from the top of the sky, slamming their fists into Hanami, the cursed spirit that has been basically tormenting these other people and basically was trying to strangle Maki to death and hurting everybody around them. Panda shows up and says that he'll take all the people that are hurt, and Yuji looks at Megumi and says to not worry, that he will handle it with his brother. They both line up, and Todo stands off to the side and says he wants to see something first. He wants to see something from Yuji. Use the technique that he saw that was possible. Use Black Flash, a technique that when unleashed will completely destroy his opponent. And Yuji wipes his hands off and looks at the curse grate. Hanami is shocked to see this, seeing that this boy is even stronger, far stronger than what was said initially. Hanami was told that Yuji needed help against Mahito, but right now, he could arguably go head to head with Mahito by himself. Maybe even defeat him. Hanami is shocked to see this, but isn't going to back down. But Yuji goes charging in at full speed. Black Flash! Immediately landing the Black Flash, tearing half of the body of Hanami straight off. He yells for his brother, and immediately he gets pile-drived into the ground. And they both say that together they can exorcise this curse, and they'll do it right now. Their assault continues on without a blink. Hanami can't even keep up, trying to maintain themselves, immediately pulling out Todo's secret technique, the Boogie Woogie. Keeping up is out of the question. This is practically impossible. Their speed is equal, their timing is perfect, and the wounds can continue to grow. Hanami is trying to basically recover, trying to make sure that she's okay or can survive. But it doesn't matter to them. They're making sure that Hanami is not getting out of here alive. At a last-ditch effort, tries to unleash her own domain expansion, but that is practically impossible with two people on you at full speed. And to make matters worse, her body is deteriorating. It seems like Yuji is having such an impactful punch. No. Is this something that Yuji has? Yuji has leveled up and earned a new special skill, and he thought it would be perfect for the battle ahead. Decay itself. He lands a punch, and the more he does, the more the curse will start decaying. So, just to make matters worse, Hanami is decaying, can't even get up a domain expansion, and as she looks up, she sees that Gojo is now dispelling the veil over the battlefield. Immediately, she tries to escape, and when she does, Gojo blasts an insane wave of giant purple curse energy at a retreating Hanami. And this time, Hanami is completely exorcised. There's no doubt that she was not able to escape. She was vaporized. She might have gotten through that portal, but her whole body was gone in an instant. The body that was decaying was just finished off by Gojo. And Gojo looks down and screams that his eyes hurt, or at least that he used too much power, but that's beyond the point. It doesn't matter anymore. The battle is over, but they are missing something. They find out that Mahito found all the fingers, or at least Sukuna's fingers, that were at Jujutsu Tech. But with a cursed spirit now dead, one of the strongest cursed spirits they've seen in a while, it's beneficial nonetheless for the sorcerers. Now knowing that Yuji and Todo can definitely take them out together, and that Yuji is a force to be reckoned with. But the only problem the others are having, the people that want him dead, they know now that he has Todo on his side with Gojo, it doesn't really matter. There is no killing off Yuji Itadori. He's here to stay for the long run. With the group battle practically sacrificed, can't really do anything about that, they actually decide to regroup and start another thing, in which they do a baseball game against each other, in which Jujutsu High actually wins, which is all cool and all, but that's neither here nor there. a baseball game's not very important, and you could say that Yuji probably hit the baseball a little bit further than normal. But that's beyond the point. Now let's get into the real nitty gritty. After that is all said and done, Tokyo's Jujutsu High first years, Megumi, Nobara, and Yuji, are sent to investigate the mysterious deaths that are connected to the former's alma mater, or at least the alma mater of Megumi. And when they arrive, they're actually greeted by various people that are terrified of Megumi, and they do explain all this stuff about how Megumi basically beat up a ton of people. Megumi then learns of his connection to what's going on, his connection to the cursed spirits that basically put his sister under, and that when she wakes up, she will be a target. He tries his best to get Yuji and Nobara out of this situation, but obviously they have his back. They're not gonna just let him go in on alone, so when they scheme and he goes out for the night to basically handle it on his own, Yuji and Nobara appear right next to him, saying that they weren't gonna just be left behind. It's not that simple. So when they arrive, they enter the battlefield, but Megumi is forced to face off against a special grade cursed on his own. With this battle, well, Megumi is going to have to stretch his limits, push himself beyond. He'll have to remember the words of Gojo, his sensei, encouraging him to release anything he possibly can, his own domain expansion, unlock the power deep within himself, and push himself to the utter limits of his power. Megumi will fight this special grade with his own power, with everything he possibly can. But going back to Yuji, Itadori, he's chasing down one of the curses, and he actually runs into somebody, runs into Nobara, and sees another curse. And this curse begins to freak out. Yuji's confused, and Yuji also hears the other curse that he's been chasing apologize to his brother, saying that he didn't mean to basically lure him over here so he could see his backside. And his brother begins to panic, freaking out, saying that none of them can actually leave now. So he infects both of them with a curse. It seems like this cursed womb cursed womb for his brothers. It seems like it's like a decay technique of some sorts that will basically poison them and rot their bodies away in mere minutes. Nobara knows that this is a bad situation, but what's funny is that Yuji is barely even affected. He can still move, and if we're talking about pain, Yuji has the biggest tolerance for pain. He'll push through any pain that is thrown his way and give it back tenfold. Yuji begins his onslaught on the older brother, his onslaught on the brother that is stronger than the two, obviously, and begins to beat him down, saying that if he doesn't release the curse, he'll continue this onslaught and he'll rip his head off himself, beginning to basically overwhelm the curse. And Nobara smirks. Yeah, it's not that simple either. You'll be dead before you even have a chance to release this curse, because you won't be getting out of here alive. She slams her pins or her nails into her arm, and the brother begins to react. She realizes that it might hurt herself, but it damn sure hurts him a lot more. She continues this as Yuji begins to beat him down. Nobara, though, through the pain, begins to walk to the other brother, the brother that Yuji frankly already injured pretty much a good amount, and this forces the curse to choose. Does he watch as his brother dies right in front of him, or does he retract the curse, gain his energy back, and hopefully go head to head with Yuji? Is that even gonna be enough strength? Will it even be enough for him to keep up? As he begins to think about this, he feels his body. It's giving out. Why does it feel like he looks to see his body is turning this blackish color, and Yuji just smirks at him. My decay is coming into effect now. You're not the only one with that effect, you idiots. He continues his onslaught, and the brother is forced to release the curse, But this immediately gives Nobara the chance to just destroy the other brother. And he wasn't even able to help his brother, and he screams in terror. He just watched his other brother die in front of him. How could he let this happen? So he tries his best to get away, but even Yuji is on him like glue, ripping off 2 of his arms, and even throws his arms to Nobara as he keeps trying to kill him. But Yuji knows that it's over. He smiles. My sympathy goes out to you and your brother. And the other one that is going to lose both you and the other one over there. He jumps off the truck that the curse is on, and Nobara screams with a sadistic smile. Straw doll technique, slamming her nail into the straw doll, killing the curse. He walks over to Nobara and pats her on the shoulder, basically saying that she did a good job. But they both reflect on the fact that those 2, they weren't really curses. They were human. And they both nod, and they say that sometimes you have to just make the hard choices. And frankly, killing humans when need be, those are the hard choices as a sorcerer they're gonna need to make. But after that's said and done, they meet up with Megumi to collect, and they eventually collect one of Sukuna's fingers. But actually, when Megumi talks about it, telling Yuji not to eat it, he reaches out to grab it with his hand, but Sukuna tricks them and immediately eats the finger, in which Yuji kind of shrugs, saying that it's not really a big deal. He has the strength to ultimately hold Sukuna where he is, and even if they ate 3 fingers right now, he'd be easily able to hold him. Sukuna appears once again, telling him to not get so cocky, basically showing up on his cheek, basically as a mouth, but Itadori tells him that soon his day will come, and frankly that day will be both of their days. But with all that done, later on they head back to the school, in which they learn of something. They hear that Mei with Aoi or Todo go in to recommend Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki, and Panda as class grade 1 sorcerers. Yuji has taken his next step up, and frankly, with his brother Todo, it seems like there is no limit to the power that Itadori can have. But that power is not going to be shown today. That power is going to be shown in another story. But that will be for another time. If you enjoyed my very first What If Itadori, I really hope you did. If you did, make sure to leave a like, sub, and comment down below. And if you want more JJK What Ifs, let me know. We can get more creative with it. I'm gonna develop these what ifs as I go. I'm gonna get better, I promise. That is a promise. I'm gonna get better and better at these things, and we're gonna make a whole kingdom, an entire kingdom of what ifs. I love these JJK what ifs. I love my Shield Hero what ifs, and I'm gonna keep expanding. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.